Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Do you wake up every day just feeling like, wow, I just feel so broken and like there's no way to get your life back? I know exactly how you feel because I've been there. I've been at that point in my life where I would wake up in the morning just dreading the day, just thinking, how can I get through this day? A lot of times I numbed myself with alcohol and I just thought, there's no way I'm ever going to get my life back. But what I want to share with you is that you can get your life back. I promise you, you can get your life back. And if you're new here, my name's Holly, and I completely changed my life at 60 years old. Completely. And went from having extreme anxiety, drinking all the time, every day, depression, and went from that to seriously, I can say at 65, I have the best life I've ever had. I seriously had the best life I've ever had. And if you'd like to learn a little bit more about how I did that, I do have a free guidebook, Creating a Joyful Life. And if you'd like to get more in depth about how I did that, then I have a new ebook out, The Bliss Tribe. And it walks you step by step through a 4-week program to completely change your mindset. And it's only $12.99. And if it doesn't work, I will give you your money back. But I think for me, there was kind of what I would refer to as a perfect storm, like in my mid-40s. My father had died in a car accident when I was in my late 30s, and that was devastating to me. And then my only parent left. My mother had narcissistic personality disorder. And, my kids moved out of the house in my early 40s because I had kids in my early 20s. And I think there was just kind of this perfect storm. And then when I was 45, I went through a breakup. And that was kind of like the straw. Is it the straw that broke the camel's back? That just led to me completely just basically going off the deep end and really just losing my life for years after that. And I thought, as I was going through this, that there was no chance that I would ever have a happy life again. I just thought, my life's over. Really, my chance at happiness is over, and there's no way that I can ever have a happy and fulfilling life. But something happened when I was in my 50s, and at the time I was going through therapy, and she turned me on to something called EFT. And I don't preach on my channel to be stuck in like things from your past, because I think people are often seeking like some kind of validation about what they went through in the past. And I did this with my mother for years, trying to seeking validation, trying to confront her about her narcissism, talking to my siblings about her. And I never really got that validation that I needed. And I think a lot of times we can just really get stuck there. Just like, I need to be validated. In fact, somebody wrote in the comments on my last video something about, I'm writing down everything that happened to me because I need validation. Well, you're probably writing it down isn't going to probably bring you any validation. But one thing that I learned in therapy, which other than that, I really didn't get anything out of it, but it did turn me on to EFT. And EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique tapping, which is tapping on meridian points on your body, kind of similar to acupuncture, only no needles. But it helps you to bring up painful things, painful emotions, and then release them. And this is something that I just highly recommend that you do. Instead of being stuck in these emotions and trying to get validation and trying to get rid of the doubt and the shame and the guilt and all of that stuff, just try EFT. I recommend Brad Yates' channel. He's got a video about how to do EFT. He's been teaching EFT for like 20 years. And I just can't even tell you how really life-saving this is. And that I do EFT every single morning. And there is, I mean, if you are doubting me, then look up EFT, do the research, and it has proven to be as effective in treating PTSD as things like psychotherapy. And I think the best thing about EFT is that you're not dwelling in the past. You're just bringing up the emotion. I did a lot of EFT tapping in the beginning for feelings of unworthiness, feelings of guilt and shame, anger, fear, the whole gamut. But I can't really tell you, like, try it for a week. Pick out a certain emotion, like the emotion that you are most bothered by, whether it's anger or whether you feel fearful all the time, and do one of his tapping videos on that specific emotion and do it for a week. And then come back here and tell me in the comments if it affected you in a positive way, because I can pretty much guarantee that it will. But another thing that EFT turned me on to was Brad Yates talked about the law of attraction. And that kind of led me to just watching videos on the law of attraction. And see, doing things like this takes you from, focusing on your anger and your fear and your, regret and worry, and ruminating, all those things. It takes you from that to, you kind of go into this studying mode. There is hope out there. Wait, there's people that have been through what I've been through. Look at Holly, she's been through what I've been through. And they studied these things and it changed their life, and it might change mine too. So like I said, it kind of takes you from this focus over here on, all the horrible things that happened to me, and you start gradually focusing over here on hope and learning new things and learning about the law of attraction. If you don't want to call it the law of attraction, call it the power of positive thinking, because that's what will change your life. And start studying those things. Wake up in the morning excited about, I'm going to study more about how, thinking positively can change my life. And be aware of how you're thinking. You are not going to change your life if you get up every single day and focus on negative things. If you gradually, slowly try to redirect your thoughts to positive things and redirect your thoughts to not being stuck as a victim. When you are identifying with something, that is what you become. And I just can't say how strongly I feel about this, because I see it every day. And I think something that makes me really angry is the fact that today we label kids really early. Oh my goodness, if they're not fitting into, the norm, then we have to give them a label. Attention deficit disorder, autism, on the autism spectrum, Asperger's. And I'm not saying some of those diagnoses aren't correct, but I think we're really quick to jump on that. Just is, like I said, if a child doesn't fit in, then he's labeled with something, because he can't be normal if he doesn't fit in. And I mean, honestly, some of the most, amazing inventors like Thomas Edison were ridiculed as children. And I just feel like we are always anxious to not only label ourselves, but label other people. And when you are labeling yourself as a victim every day, you wake up thinking about, what a victim you are, or that I am depressed, I suffer from anxiety. Well, you're going to. If you wake up tomorrow and say, I'm going to work on changing my life, I'm going to start watching videos on how to do that, and you take the focus off of your anxiety, one thing that you can do to truly prove to yourself that anxiety is caused by your reaction to anxious thoughts, then the next time you are in the middle of having an anxiety attack, which I used to have frequently, I challenge you to turn on the shower as cold as it gets and get into it. And tell me after 60 seconds in that shower if you still have anxiety. And you won't. And that should prove to you that anxiety is created in your mind, and that by focusing on your anxiety is what creates more anxiety. And by getting in the cold shower, you have taken the focus off of your anxiety, and you are now focused on, oh my God, this shower is so freaking cold, that it will help to, like I said, to prove to you that anxiety can be controlled by taking your mind off of it. I know there will be therapists out there that, oh my God, there's clinical depression and there's this kind of anxiety. I don't care, because I truly believe that focusing on problems in your life only makes them worse. And that I think over the course of the next probably 10 years that other people are going to figure that out too, because a lot of them already have. And of course, the drug manufacturers and the therapists out there don't want you to hear that, but that is truly my belief. Look at over the last, when did therapy become a thing? When did, treating anxiety and depression become a thing? Probably close to 100 years, not probably more like 70 years ago, maybe 100 years ago. But have we gotten better as a nation in the mental health department? Think about that. So, that's really the most important thing, is redirecting your thoughts away from identifying with being a victim, being depressed, being anxious, and making an effort, little steps every day to let go of those emotions, like through EFT, and to focus on more positive things. At this point in our lives, we've had so much of our focus put on other people, raising our kids, being a part of a family, maybe taking care of our aging parents. And the next important thing in this process is bringing your focus back to yourself and starting to think about what you want in your life, what you want to do with your life. And this is equally as important as letting go of those emotions from the past, is moving on to focus more on yourself. I'm not saying in a selfish way. You're still, going to do things for other people. But in order for other people to enjoy being with you, you have to be happy inside. And part of that is focusing on your wants and needs in life. So basically, you want to let go of those past emotions, do an EFT, stop identifying yourself as a victim or as depressed or as anxiety, and learn to move forward from those emotions and start bringing the focus back to yourself. But also, in bringing the focus back to yourself, this also involves your physical self. Like, you can't be happy in life. You can't have a happy and fulfilling life if you're sitting in a chair all day eating donuts. Make some effort every day. If you're used to no exercise, then keep it simple, like like a 5-minute walk. Start with that. Some, easy weightlifting, sitting in a chair. Try the chair yoga. Do something to exercise your body, and that one thing alone will make a huge difference in your life. If you're not used to any kind of exercise, incorporating some exercise into your life is going to be life-changing for you. And also, take a week and focus on healthy eating. Those two things, like, you have to treat your body like a temple, because hopefully you're going to live in that body for a lot longer, especially once you're on the track, once you are on the right track to having a happy and fulfilling life, then you want your body to reflect that. And you want to be able to live in it happily. And part of that also would be take a walk out in nature, because it's just so important to appreciate just the beauty of nature and feeling one with your surroundings, feeling one with this beautiful earth that we live in. And, if you've got a nature trail or something near you that you can just take, it doesn't have to be a 5-mile hike, just take even a 10-minute walk to start. It would be amazing to you how much this can change your life. I promise you, if you incorporate these things, these steps into your life, like I said, start slow. Change doesn't happen overnight. But do you really want to remain miserable for the rest of your life? A lot of people are living into their 80s and 90s now. So let's make this the best time of our life. Like I said, if you'd like to start with my free guidebook, click on the link in the description below, Creating a Joyful Life. If you really want to get right into it, start 4 weeks of changing your life, then get my book, The Bliss Tribe. So I hope this video was helpful, and I will see you in my next one. And I also want to apologize. I'm getting over a cold, and that's why my voice sounds like this. So I'll see you in my next video. Thanks. Bye-bye.